It's a very nice kit with lots of parts, so if you're looking for a challenge, this is definitely one to get. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I'm going to do a quick unboxing of the Riche Universal Carrier Mark 1. Now, Riche is a brand you probably haven't heard of before, but it has been around for a few years now. So it's one of the, I guess, branches of late Chinese type manufacturers that have been getting into quite a few different types of subjects and adding more value to them. So adding more value being basically making it a much nicer, clean kit, and then also adding extra details such as this one's got interior detail, and then also the photo etch thing, they're all added in as well. So let's have a quick look inside. Have a look here. So this is the Mark 1, and it comes with the crew figures as well, which is nice. Okay, so the Universal Carrier was quite a popular vehicle, which was designed in the mid-30s as a universal transport, and it's quite often known as the Bren-gun carrier because the main armament was Bren-gun, which they had poking out the front. So let's have a closer look here at some of the sprues. Now, this is the packet with the figures. Right, so you can see it's got some weaponry. So you've got some really nicely cast rifles there, probably Enfields, and then you've got two Bren guns right here with your options of closed or open leg supports there. Turn this way, you have a better view of the figurines themselves. So pretty standard multi-pose style. So they've got the torsos and the heads all separate with legs and arms. This allows some degree of modification if you like. So you can change an arm by slight angle if you like and just fill it in with putty. That's not too difficult to do. Now the faces are quite nice. Molded faces are generally not very crisp, but these are pretty good. I'd say they're pretty comparable to a resin type head, and I'd use these over a resin type head anyway because the proportions are really good. And then you see all the details such as in the creases in the clothing, which are nice. So you got 1, 2, 3 figures there in total. Okay, so pop that there. All right, so we start getting into more nitty gritty of the vehicle itself. So this one here, you've got the main armament of the Bren gun. So the difference with the other ones I showed before, so they're infantry carried weapons. This one's actually mounted, they're mounted on the front here. So they'll poke through the front. And then you've got some radios, other interior components here as well. So there's some finer details. You got hooks, shackles. You got a big bar here, and what do you call those things? There's a shovel and a pickaxe. Okay, so finer bits. Okay, a couple of different sprues here. So you got the engine here. You've got engine, you've got the radiator. So this is mounted in the middle of the actual vehicle. You've got all different belts. You see how many components there are here. And generally the more parts there are, the more detail you're going to get, because you've got your limitation of injection molded plastic, being most of the detail is from each side. You don't get a lot from this side of the mold. So by making more parts, you put the detail that's on the side and it looks really crisp. Over here, a bit hard to see, you've got some printing here, but you've got, let's see, it looks like the bogies for the undercarriage. Most of these are bogie components. You've got a bit of gearbox. Then some finer bits and pieces that look like some of the disc brakes. So pop that there. All right, we're starting to get into some bigger components. Okay, you've got a few ammo type boxes. You got side armor. There's a roll of material here, which is probably bedding. And then all the small little components, all little compartments inside the actual working area of the vehicle. This side you've got the mudguards, and then you've got further panels. So these are around about the front panels. And you've got floor panels as well. Move that over here. This part here, you've got the wheels and the seats. So you've got some seats here. You've got all the wheels to fit on the bogies. You'll see here that the actual drive sprocket, you see how fine all the little teeth are. They're all very crisp, and they're designed so that you see where they're attached to the sprue. It'll be easy to cut them off and clean as well without damaging too much of that detail. And then here you can see all the tracks. So this is a individual and segmented track type. Advantage being with this is that you can get the sag with the individual ones, but it's not so painful that you have to do all the individual sections of this too. So this is a top section and bottom section, and by the time you put this together, it will have a natural sag to it as well. And over here, that's the identical parts for the other side. Okay, now I've got here, this is the last sprue, so let's look at it from this side. Okay, so you've got the base here, and then you've got the side panels, you've got the bump stops for the bogies, more armor parts, toolage, and you can just see you got little hinges. They're really well done. Okay, apart from that, we've got some clear parts. Okay, so you've got some clear parts there. Let's see if you can see them there. It's probably easier to see. So for the lights, and then also for some of the vision blocks. And then this is pretty incredible. So these are little springs for the bogies. Little tiny springs. So add that extra bit of detail. So there's bigger springs there, and on this side you'll see this smaller arrangement of springs as well. So this is where they're adding all the extra value to the kit. Alright, other bits that are quite nice, a whole lot of photo etch. So the photo etch here, there's actually 3 sheets, all in brass, and you got grills. I can actually see all of these, but there's straps and such as well. But 3 sheets for such a small vehicle, that's a lot of extra detail. And these ends here, these round parts, are probably go on the hubs for the wheels. Very nice. Okay, so getting close to the end of all the bits. Okay, so here we've got a bit of chain, super fine brass chain, and a bit of thread there for doing all the rope. Nice touch. And then we get into the manual. So the manual's quite thick. It's not a big vehicle, but I mean there's a lot of parts. So you got your full listing of all the parts here, photo etch here, the decals. That's something I didn't show you. The decals would be on here somewhere. There's the decals for your different vehicle type division markings, and then also some markings there for the figures. Okay. All right, so there are all the bits that we've already looked at. You got your paint chart here, I think. No, it's not the paint chart. Paint chart will be in the back. It's the parts labeling. Okay, so we go step by step. You've got the engine build to start with, and then you've got the fuel tanks that mount onto the chassis. Start making the bogies with all the springs. So it's got spring over spring. All the bogies getting built. The gearbox with the sprockets. All your bogies are getting mounted on the chassis, and then building up the track. So here's where you can see the actual sag that's built into the track already. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, so you got the covers going on, and then you start building up all the armor. You got is that the rear section? I think it is. And then you start getting into the interior. Okay, so more of the interior. You got batteries. You got the engine going in. You got some shackles. Finer photo etch details going into all these sort of panels. That's the main fighting compartment panel going in, covering the engine. And then you got floor panels going in. That looks like a seat. Oh, let's go over here. All right, so then you got your fine details though. Yeah, your armor, some rifles going in, fire extinguisher, more rifles on this side. Got a look like a gun mount. Then we get into the radio equipment, all the front end detail. So your driver's seat and such. Getting in over here, and then you got your frontal armor. So this is basically where the Bren gun goes. Front armor going in on the side panel armor. Doing your lights with the clear bits. And then your final assembly. And there's the Bren gun going in. Still a lot of accessories to go, straps and such for the tool storage. Another Bren gun here. That's in the center of the vehicle. And then you've got just a lot of finer photo etch parts. Getting into your entrenching gear. And then here's a tow cable. spare bits and bobs here, which are carrying our fuel cans. And then you come to the end to building the figures. And there's a photographic reference to see how they used to tie up the rope on the front end. All right, so that's the instructions. Then one more would be the color guide, and that's got the paint codes on it. So you got paint codes here. So they've got codes for Mr. Hobby, Model Master, which are pretty much defunct now, Humbrol, and also Tamiya. So you've got a Northern African scheme, or there's one of these as well, which would be European scheme. Oh, there's more here. Okay, Libya and England. So different camouflages. So there you go. That's the Riche Universal Carrier, the Bren gun carrier. So it actually could carry 6 men, which is impressive for the size of this, and they were very, very fast. So I hope you enjoyed looking at this kit. It's a very nice kit with lots of parts. So if you're looking for a challenge, this is definitely one to get. So this is the Riche Universal Carrier Mark 1 with 3 figures and full interior detail. Thanks for watching.